Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this fun lesson on painting one of my favorite flowers, the Blazing Hearts tulips. So in this lesson, I will be painting Blazing Hearts tulips using water mixable oils. So I hope you enjoy this lesson. And if you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and share it with a friend. I also have lots of lessons on Patreon. I have everything from birds to bears and flowers, Christmas scenes, all kinds of fun stuff. And you can see the link in my banner on my YouTube channel or in the description below. All right, so first things first, we're going to be looking at kind of a more difficult thing to do, and that is when you have sort of the flower that has the stripes on it. How do you get the colors on the white without mixing it and making a big mess? So it's first of all, we want to get a base for those flowers. So I'm going to mix sort of a warm white and sort of shape. What we're going to do is I'll make a puddle of sort of a warm white, and we're going to shape the tulip, and then we're going to add the beautiful kind of where they get their name, the blazing heart fire look to them without hopefully making a big mess. So it can be a little more challenging because you're mixing, especially with mixing red on white like that. So we're going to have fun with this one, and they're just so amazingly beautiful. So what I'm mixing into this white to make these warm shadow white colors is I have my titanium white, and I added a little bit of this transparent red oxide, a little bit of the sap here to make sort of a warm, and then I have this transparent yellow oxide. And all these colors I'm using are the Cobra brand because they're really smooth and really good quality. So if you mix a couple, little piles of those warm colors before you get going, that will make it a little bit easier for you. So I'm looking at my reference photo, and I'm gonna go first of all a little bit on these sides that are a little bit on in the shadows. I'll put a little bit of that. So I'm gonna make a little bit darker using green, sap green, the white, yellow oxide, and I'm working on this gray background, which I will show you in another video how I do that. And I'll post that to the channel soon because it's really simple way to get, something going on the background and have it like if you prime a bunch at once, you really you get a bunch ready to go, and it kind of saves you time. Especially when I work with water-based, it's hard to spread the water-based oil the way I would using like some turp and some just like a paper towel. You can't, it's a lot. It's just, that's one of the challenges of the water-based oil is, or water mixable oil. Sorry, I get people write me in the comments always correcting me for saying that, but I do read on the jar, on the container, water mixable oil, but for some reason I just kept saying water-based, and it really angers some people. There's not enough real things in life to be upset about, I guess, for them. So anyhow, hopefully I didn't offend you. It's just is what it is. So anyways, I'm putting in the darker spots first to my tulips, and then later it'll be easy to add the fiery flame look to them. So I'm giving it the tulip shape right now. And actually the gray background works really well. So all I did was I mixed a little bit of, I have a cheap tube of gray paint, just any gray works from Michael's, and I added this gesso to it and then just spread it around. Not too dark, but it just also makes it so much nicer to paint on. It's like, it's kind of what makes fancy canvases fancy, is you're just really paying for someone else to have done all that gesso for you. So this is a kind of the inside of one here. And you'll see that in the reference photo, all the different tulips. And what I'm trying to do is, again, I want to make it loose and decorative. I'm not going for, you know, super realistic. I really just love the feeling of these flowers, and we're trying to create sort of an abstract, almost impressionist edition of these. So when you get all that down, you can go ahead then and sort of maybe lighten some of the greens if it's too dark, the grayish green color. Or if it looks too green, in some areas you can add a little bit of the, I like to add a little ultramarine blue into some of those shadowy areas. And you can look in the at the reference photo and kind of see where I'm going with this. And I'm not putting the paint on right now. I haven't got it on there too thick. And some of these flowers are just going to be kind of really abstract, like these ones kind of falling off the edge here. I really kind of envision this more like something you just want to kind of like rest on, you know, with your eyes. Just something to take a break from looking at your cell phone, just kind of something peaceful, you know. All right, so I've got a kind of good base of that warm white. So now what I can do is I can even blend it a little bit. I have these smooth Viva paper towels. I can even look at where on my reference photo you'll see like there's going to be where the dark red is. You can even kind of lift off a little bit of the paint where that's going to go. If you've put too much down, like I have in some places, I got a little, because I love painting white tulips. So I could just paint these just white and leave them, you know. But for the sake of this lesson, I'm going to stick to my plan, which, as you know, as artists, is very hard to stick to a plan. We want to try everything all the time. And it's hard to, you want to do so many things, and there's so little time. And sometimes when you have the time, you're too tired to paint. So it's kind of a conundrum. You just have to kind of set up a desk in your house and just decide you're just going to go in there. And even if all you do is prime some of these canvases, just call that a win, you know. All right, so now we're gonna start adding in some of those beautiful marks just to try it out. We'll start with one. And what we're looking at is getting that brush stroke. And that's the key here, is just simplify that brush stroke. It doesn't need to be exact like the photo. We're giving an impression. I have to tell myself that more than you guys, because I know I'm already overthinking it. So I'll start with a little darker red. So I got this alizarin crimson, which I only found it in this brand, actually, the Holbein Duo Aqua Oil, alizarin crimson. So I use it a lot because it just simplifies when I paint anything red, to start off with that as the base, sort of the darkest red. And you can add a little bit of that cad red in there. And I'm going to add, even just to really kind of darken it more, I'm going to add a little of that Payne's gray. There you go. So now you see a really dark red there. Okay. Now I'm looking at this one up here, and I'm just going to put my brush down, say a prayer, and just kind of go up the middle of the tulip. Same with these ones that kind of go off the sides. Now you can, of course, work into it as much as you want to get it, more realistic if you need it to be. But that's the way I'm going to do it. Just keep it real simple. And I want this one to really show up. So I'm going to put that one in. And I'm looking at the reference photo, just getting an idea of different ways some of those stripes come around the tulip. So I kind of can, Now the key is, if your paint was thick underneath, it would be catching a lot of the white. Mine kind of started to, so make sure the minute that happens, don't forget to go and kind of wipe your brush right away. And then I've got this one going underneath. So this one's on top, this one's kind of in the background underneath. So I'm just gonna do a little less detail on that one because it's kind of going to be behind. And then this one, I'm going to and you notice the lines kind of go with the curve of the tulip. So the little tulip kind of curves around, the petals do, I mean. And if you like the tulip lesson and you want to paint it in oil or acrylic, this is how I would paint either one. And this one, I'm just going to really, that one, this flower is like kind of just there. So I don't want to, same with these guys back here. The main focus will be like kind of these two. So I've kind of decided that just now. And these ones are more going to be like softer in the background. And like this one here just looks like it's going like this one here. Just, I kind of wanted a few real crazy ones in there. So I'm just kind of blending those those ones that I don't really want to be overly detailed, I'm really wiping my brush and kind of, I'm softening those ones up a little before I get, and I haven't even put my real bright white in there, so it's going to look really great when we get some more of the white. Of course, I'm attracted to complexity, I've been told, as an artist, so I couldn't just paint the simple tulips. I have to always do these ones. I don't know why, but they're just so cool. So I'm going to get some of this white that I have, and I'm going to start looking at my reference photo and just picking out some of the ones I want to kind of highlight. I'm adding the tiniest little dab of Indian yellow to brighten that white up. So let's just start with, maybe this will be like our focal point flower. So you kind of look at the reference photo and you can kind of see that there's the tulip has, it comes from here and then all the lines kind of go out and around from the center. So you can go at it two ways. You can go from the top into it like that, or you could go, be really careful and kind of branch like that. But I'm going out to the side. It's just how they kind of grow. And I'm trying to make those brush strokes. So if you get any red on your brush, you have to really go and wipe it right off, or you won't get these clean details. So I sound really picky about it, but that's the key to this lesson, is learning, keep your brush clean. So I'm going to just go plant my brush up there and just kind of pull down that tulipy shape. And then back here, I'll do some darker white for that. But for these guys up front, I'm just going to work on getting those in. And trying to keep it loose. It's very hard for me. I want to just start doing the details, but I want to just keep it loose. So I'm going to do the same up here. Just put my brush and whip it right into that red. And you get some really beautiful kind of color mixing as you go. So I'm going to do it again. And I'm wiping my brush each time. If your brush starts to get kind of mucky, you can always just give it a quick rinse off in your, I have a bucket of water on my desk, which is one of the benefits of painting with the water-based oil, water mixable, sorry. And so same thing, got a bit of red, so I'm going to clean my brush off again. We're going for a real kind of loose decorative look. We're not trying to be realists here, so I'm just really kind of going to block these guys in down here a lot looser. And then I'll go back and work on this one again. So it's like when you paint anything like white that you have details on, you kind of have to start with shading your main object, whether it's a vase or a flower, and then you go give it that 3-dimension first, because you can't go in and shade the whole tulip in once you've got the red on there. It would be very hard to go and add, all this shape in there. And we're not even at the fun. There's so many fun things to painting these that you'll see. Make some brush strokes for those those ones that aren't going to be as bright in there. Then go get your light white and I add a little bit of Indian yellow to it just to brighten it. And whoops, gotta keep my brush clean. And this one here, I'm gonna add a little bit of more blue to the white mixture for these ones that I don't really want to take over. I want this one to be more the focus, so I'm just going to add a little bit of kind of blue to those. Same idea. It just sort of definitely sets them back a little bit from the rest. You just kind of trial and error, you know, like one way will work better for you. Like you might want to start down here and kind of work your way up. As long as you don't get carried away and, you know, forget that you're mixing in your colors, then you'll be okay. Your red with your white. So now you've got kind of your basic block in of like the different kind of values and everything of the whites. You can go in, I was going to say we could go in and get to the fun part of the red, but I'm going to quickly just do some of the stems. So I'll make different greens so you get some sap, and I mixed a little bit of the cad yellow and cad yellow medium in here and a little dab of that transparent red oxide for that, and we can add a little red oxide to the sap here just to darken it a bit. And then right underneath you kind of want to put in your darkest green. And then kind of pull down some stems. And then get some of that lighter green. You can add some cad yellow light to it. And you could even kind of dull it down a little, so you want it to fit with my kind of theme here. I kind of will put some real light. I'll add the blue to it so they kind of don't take over. I'll add a little bit of that to lighten up some of it. So it's like you got the shadow and some of the realistic elements of it, but then we can kind of make it look more decorative by just lightening it up a little with some of this white mix. At least it's sort of an idea And it just kind of helps it look less, those lines look less severe if you kind of lighten them up a little. Okay, now I'm gonna go get a little smaller brush, which I feel like I'm almost cheating when I use something this small, but I'm gonna mix in some of that. I've got some Cad Red Medium and Cad Red Light, and I'm gonna mix up some lighter red. We're gonna add some of the highlights, just some different reds in here, just to create a little dimension even in the reds. And show a little bit over there. This is where you can kind of add a little more detail if you want. I'm going to just pick a few and make sure each time I'm wiping my brush, if you don't see it, it's what I'm doing. And I've even got this kind of pinky red, which I'll add a little bit too. This one here. Because in the photo you'll see the stripes all come in as pink or red, and it just kind of just gives your imagination, when you look at the flowers, it just sort of stands out, you know, to have some of those different colors. So, and these ones I don't want to get too detailed with, so I really want to kind of, let's just see, I'm looking down at my painting, so it's hard to see. Yeah, I like that. So I'm gonna, what I can do is just take a brush and sort of blend some of these ones that are off. I don't really want them dominating. I just want these tulips off to the side to be more there, and I don't want, so I'm gonna just sort of use this dry brush and sort of, I'm going with the flow of the painting and sort of blending a little bit. And I can blend, you can blend it, the tulip, the green into the bottom of the flower like it is in real life, just a little bit. Just kind of need to thicken that shadow side a little. Another thing is, if you don't like the way you're, make your stripe, you can always go back and cut into it the way I'm doing right now with some of the lighter paint. And just trying to loosen these lines up a little now. So that if, like, for example, this one kind of came in real thick up there, just go along with some, I got some of that paint on my brush, the grayish white, and just sort of cut into it a bit. I'm just kind of loosening that up a little. And some of you will do a much better job at this sort of detail than I will, just because I'm not the most patient when it comes to this sort of thing. But I really love how decorative this looks, and you can even take some of these ones in the back and sort of really loosen some of those white parts up too now on those. Loosen up those lines. And the last thing I want to do is make sure my brush is really clean. And I might even, for sometimes the best way to get your kind of most like important highlight is sort of get a little palette knife like this and go in and add your, your brightest, white or yellow, whatever it is, with a palette knife. Add a few really kind of pure white. Highlights to some of them. You can even, sometimes it's kind of cool to scrape some of those just so that it really loosens those stems up a bit. So I hope you enjoyed this little lesson as much as I did. And I've been thinking about this for many weeks, and I haven't had time because of having the kids out of school. Has been really hard to get anything done, but that's fine. I just wanted to spend that time with them. But now I'm back and hopefully get back in the flow of making new lessons on YouTube for you. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Painting, you learned not just how to paint tulips, but how to paint the blazing, I think they're called flaming hearts or blazing hearts tulips. You can mention it in the comments below. Let me know which one it is. And anyways, I hope you have a great week, and I'll look forward to our next lesson. Thank you for watching.